Hi, it's Dorothy guiding with Scrapbooking Quebec. This week I'm joining the Punched Out Thursday to Die For collaboration. We share ideas every Thursday on what to do with your punches and your dies. I'm going to put links to the other participants below, so be sure to check out what they're up to. I'm going to be creating this layout using cut apart sheets for layers and explaining how a few punched out leaves can bring a layout together, turning a page that may seem a bit disjointed into something more cohesive. I find leaves a perfect finishing touch to a page, and having a few leaf tools in my stash I find super useful. Actually, it's the third Thursday, Punched Out Thursday in a row that I've spoke about this. Anyway, you're about to see the consumables I'm going to be using, and it's a mishmash of material from different Simple Stories collections. I don't use all of this, but this is what I start out with, and here are the tools I'll be using. The leaf die there is from Carta. I have a Planner Essentials collection from Elizabeth Craft Designs with a whole bunch of arrows on it. I also have some stitched rectangles, a stamp set. Anyway, I'm going to talk more about these tools throughout the process, and everything will be listed in the description box below. You definitely don't need all these tools to create this layout, but a leaf die or punch would be useful. The other shapes can be created without special tools. So here's what's on my desk. I have basil vanilla textured cardstock, some paper. The squirrel paper is from the Cozy Days collection, and the wood grain is just the Color Vibe collection from Simple Stories. I've matted 3 photos in that vanilla cardstock, and I'm showing you a bunch of cut apart sheets. Now these ones are from the Cozy Days collection. Those tags there were from a cut apart sheet. And this cut apart sheet here, I cut it 100% apart with these stitched rectangle dies from Stampin' Up. I did it before I even started this video, but I did want to show you that die set because it does kind of step up your cut aparts a bit. I'm also showing you a few cut apart sheets from the Simple Stories Hello Today collection, which got me digging into that collection. So here I have a bunch of different scraps I plan to dig into from Cozy Days and the Hello Today collection. And I have the 2 sticker sheets that I don't end up using. Same thing for those Color Vibe Simple Stories alphas. I have a tray with embellishments and a basket with tools. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut some paper up to create my foundation page. So I'm cutting these 2 different papers up, and I will put measurements on the screen for the pieces that I'm cutting. I'll put them on the screen when I'm actually adhering them to the page because I find it easier to follow that way. But essentially what I'm doing here is there is going to be a large border on the left-hand side of the page and a very narrow border peeking out from behind on the right-hand side of the page. Now what I'm doing here is adhering the border from behind the foundation page. So that strip of wood grain paper there actually measures 1.5 inches by 12 inches, but the measurement on the screen is going to be 1/2 inch by 12 inch because that's the visible part. The 1 inch is actually adhered behind the foundation page. And then what you're going to see me do is put this piece of paper, which now measures 12.5 inches by 12, and I'm going to trim it down to 12 by 12. I like doing that, but an easier way would simply be to take a 1/2 inch by 12 inch strip of paper and adhere it to one side of the page. And now what I'm going to do is just simply adhere this 6 by 12 border to the left hand side of the page. My plan with that larger wooden block there, the wood grain paper block, is to create a layered photo mat. My photos are going to go on here, and then everything is going to kind of spill off this photo mat. As you can see, Chester has come for a visit, and he is very loving at this point. So I do want to bring out my big shot, but I don't want to discourage him because lately he's been sleeping when I film. Anyway, what I'm doing right now is getting out my Elizabeth Craft Design planner page die, something I use all the time. And I want to cut myself out a journaling box. And I actually have 3 different lined papers here, and not one of them is perfect, which is why I've got 3 out here. I end up cutting out all 3. On camera, I'm just doing the white one. The white one and the yellowish one there, they're lined papers from Simple Stories. The flip side of it is that wood grain paper. Those Color Vibe wood grain collections, one side is wood grain paper and the flip side is either lined or graph paper. The other one there that has red lines on it, it's kind of a vanilla color, you see it to the left, that's an old paper from Fancy Pants. That one actually probably matches the best. The problem is I find the lines too far apart, and I don't like journaling boxes when the lines, the spaces are too far apart. I find my writing kind of looks a little bit lost in it. Anyway, what you see me doing right now is testing these 3 different colors. And for me, cutting out 3 planner pages is not a loss because I use them all the time. So that's just going to go in with my journaling paper. So I was just testing them out with a few of the cut apart sheets there, and I decide to go with the white because it is a complete contrast to the other ones. The other ones were like near matches, but not quite. And when that happens, sometimes I like something completely different. So I do decide to go with the white lined paper, and I cut it in half because I'm going to be putting it in the top left and also in the bottom right, kind of poking out from that layered photo mat. And that's going to be where I start my layering and eventually my embellishment clusters. So you can see there I'm tucking in different cut apart sheets. The idea here is I'm just adding a bunch of layers, and it more or less goes in a diagonal fashion here. So you can see I'm starting in the top left, and then I'm going to work down a bit to the bottom right. There's a lot going on here right now. I like it, but there is a lot going on. Number one, that left side border is full of squirrels. I'm not used to using papers with images or icons on it. Also, each one of these cut apart sheets has either an image or words or a calendar page. So you're going to see there's a lot going on. Back to what I'm doing here. Basically, I'm adhering this together starting with the photo mat, and I'm going from left to right because they are all layered. So I started with the photo there, or I may have started with that brown cut apart sheet, then the photo, then the cut apart sheet, next the photo, and so on and so forth. But basically I'm creating layers popping out from the top and the bottom, overlapping the photos, starting at the left, moving towards the right. And I get all of it down except the journaling spots, except those planner pages. That's because at this point I find my exploding photo mat starting to get big, and I want to make sure it fits on the page. So I am adhering it to the page, and then what I'll do is come in and tuck in those planner pages. I can do this because the adhesive I'm using permits me to lift it up for a little while before it becomes permanent. It's from Easy Runner. If you have an adhesive that becomes permanent instantaneously, you may want to adhere all the pieces together before actually adhering it down on the foundation page. So like I said, I've got this page happening here. I do like it, but there's a lot going on, and I don't have a lot of room for embellishments as far as I'm concerned, because the paper with the motif in it and those cut apart sheets with the numbers and words, it already has a lot going on. So what I'm going to do is simply add some repetition to this page. And this is why I'm getting out my leaf dies. Back to my leaf dies. I absolutely love them. The ones I'm using here are called Falling Branches die set from Echo Park. No, I'm sorry, they're from Carta. It's from the new Welcome Autumn collection. Really simple, 2 leaves. They punch out very well. This is the first time I'm using them. They are quite delicate, but they are very, very nice, and they are cutting out well. So I'm simply using this cardstock from the Simple Stories Fall collection, the Color Vibe collection. I stopped the camera, I cut out a bunch more, and all I'm going to do now is dig into another die set. And this is another Elizabeth Craft Designs collection. It's called Directions, I think. I'll list it in the description box below. And basically it's full of arrows. Now this collection is very useful for me because I do a lot of hiking and stuff like that. So arrows are great. However, arrows are very easy to replicate. Even this signpost is easy to replicate. All it is a stick with some slats across it, and then you would cut a point at the end. That's it. I do love my signpost die, don't get me wrong, especially this one. There is a stitched embossed edging all around. Super, super cute. So I took a few of the other dies and just kind of filled them in the areas that wasn't being cut out, just because otherwise that would be a waste of paper and I could use that elsewhere on my layout. Now, before starting my embellishment clusters, I just want to do a bit of stamping on this signpost. And this is a a stamp set from Elizabeth Craft Designs called Vacay Phrases, I think. And basically, it's a bunch of different words that's actually made to coordinate with this die set. So it's like, here we go, this is us, staycation, words like that. So I'm just stamping it with VersaFine Clair black ink on this signpost. And then what I'll do is start creating two clusters. But like I mentioned earlier, there's already a lot going on this page with all of the different prints and patterns and words and all of that. So all I want to do is add some repetition. I also need a title here, and you can see there I'm looking at my options. I wanted it to be On a Walk, and I had it in those Color Vibe Orange Alphas from Simple Stories, but it was just way too much. Like I said, I've got a lot going on. So I end up digging into this title sheet, which is from the Simple Stories Howdy collection, and I find Wild Adventures, and that's perfect for this layout, and it also doesn't take up too much visual space. You're going to be able to see it, but it doesn't have a huge impact, and that's exactly what I want here. So you can see I'm taking those leaves and just kind of poking them in behind the photo mat, behind the journaling box, and out of the photo, and I'm just going to add a repetition of that up in the top left. I end up tucking them out from behind those cut apart sheet cards that are there sort of towards the left middle there. And then you can see I put the signpost down there at the bottom. That's my main embellishment cluster. And at the bottom of that signpost where there are a few leaves, that's where I'm going to adhere my title. So again, I've got a lot going on this page, but all I'm doing here is adding the same leaf punch out in a bunch of places to kind of bring this layout together. And I find it does this because I'm doing something that is repetitive. I'm adding something that is repetitive. That signpost is just really cute, and it happens to work with the theme of my page. But what I want to say here is I've already got a lot going on. I just want to add something, some repetition, and dies and punches are perfect for that. And I find leaf punches work so well for so many different pages. So there you have it. And the adhesive I used, by the way, to add those leaves was called Sticky Specs. It's from Ecstasy Crafts, and it's an adhesive I used when I try to adhere detailed pieces to the page. So now I have it. I added a few more leaves to that area at the bottom right. I'm looking for a few details here. I end up taking one of those arrows that I punched out. It's like a circle with arrows punched out. I punched out a green circle, put it behind it to basically fill in the punched out area with green. And now what I'm going to do is pop it over there on the left, up with a bit of foam adhesive, and it's actually pointing to the people that are in the photo that are really, really tiny there, and that kind of creates a visual triangle across the page. It's a different motif, but the colors are repeated, the wood grain and the green. And all I did off camera was my journaling, and you can also see there is an arrow just above that calendar page there, and I popped that up on foam adhesive, but that is it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, Scrapbooking Quebec, I would be absolutely thrilled if you did. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very, very much. I love reading all your comments. I love hearing from you. You guys always make my day, so I hope you know that. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.